Dear learners, welcome to the online course on electricity and safety measures. So learners, in today's session we are going to learn about the electrical safety at work site. So electrical maintenance work at the site should be done by specifically trained and experienced persons who are aware of the danger that exists when working on or near live mains and apparatus. So for this purpose, regular inspection and maintenance of equipment is must. So the safety equipment must always be in order. So learners, now we are going to see that what are the learning objectives of today's session. So after going through this discussion or after studying this module, you will be able to learn about safety instructions and precautions involved in working at various voltages. Then electrical equipment such as operation of switches and isolators. So if safety instructions involved with these switches and isolators, then working on cables, testing of mains and apparatus, working at height. So the safety instructions associated with this. Then you will also come to know about the safety precautions involved in working on high voltage apparatus and overhead lines. Then you will also be briefly acquainted with the safety instructions involved while working on the lower portion of the tower carrying lines. After this session, in continuation, I'm also briefing you here in our next session. You will be able to learn about some more safety instructions or precautions involved with working on deadlines and equipment, working on switching operations. You will also learn working on substation, transformer, circuit breaker, then metal clad switchgear and control panels, then the safety instruction associated with the working outdoor structures like bus bars, capacitors, lightning arresters. And you will also come to know about the instructions associated with the storage battery and portable lamp and appliances. So this all will be discussed in the next session. So let us begin with the inspection of safety equipment. So we state here the safety procedures for the inspection of equipment. So all the equipment used for the working on overhead lines and apparatus, it should be surveyed every month by a responsible official, and he or she should make random checks on the equipment to satisfy herself or himself that the equipment is in right or good condition. So this checking is required. Then special attention must be paid to the safety equipment such as the safety belt. What are these safety equipment? Safety belt, gloves, ropes used for hoisting and others. So as per the schedule, or any replacement due to wear and tear should be made immediately. Every authorized person, or we can say the in charge of the working party, before commencing his or her work should ensure that all the equipment being used in a safe condition and not weakened by any kind of deterioration, abrasion, etc. So he or she not permit the work to be carried out if for any reason they are in doubt that equipment is unsuitable or deteriorated to the extent that it is likely to cause hazard. Remember this. Learners, the safety precautions for working on mains and apparatus for different voltage ranges are different, and you must know about all of them. We are describing them briefly, and in each case only a competent and experienced person who is authorized to do so can be allowed to work. Such person should take all safety measures as are required under the Indian Electricity Rules 1956. So we have discussed all these rules, Indian Electricity Rules 1956, all related, which are related to the safety in our previous sessions. So I will advise you to go through that session also. So let us discuss the safety instructions for work up to and including 650 volt. If I am saying up to and including 650 volt, means I am mentioning the low voltage and medium voltage as we defined under the electricity rules. So here we are seeing that in the three part, that work on dead mains and apparatus, work on live mains and apparatus, then connecting the dead line or dead mains to live mains. So what are the safety instructions involved in this? If we say that the work on the dead mains and apparatus, that means that all mains and apparatus to be worked upon, they should be isolated from all the sources of supply before starting the work. The work on live mains and apparatus means that immediately before starting the work, safety tags should be attached on or adjacent to the live apparatus and at the limits of the zone in which the work may be carried out. That means it is necessary to attach the safety tags before starting the work. There may be any kind of like danger, do not operate kind of tag or any other. So put up safety barriers wherever required. Then that protective rubber gloves, if required, they should be thoroughly examined by the authorized person, user, to see whether they are in sound condition. Under no circumstances should a person work with unsound these gloves, mats, stools, platforms or other accessories, and proper testing should be carried out as per the manufacturer's guidelines. For various companies, as per the requirement, they give the guidelines, and it depends upon the type of the gloves or the equipment which are being used. So these should be tested as per the given guidelines by the manufacturer. Now connecting dead mains to live mains. So when dead mains are connected to live mains, connection to the live parts should be made last, and in all the cases the phase sequence should be checked to ensure that only like phases are connected together by testing phase sequence tester rod and phase sequence meter for HT and LT respectively. So for this, for checking the phase sequence, we can use the phase sequence tester rod. Then before inserting fuses or links in distribution pillar, controlling the cable on which the fault has been cleared, each phase should first be connected through the test switch fuse lower than the value of the load. So you should remember this. Then first of all, we are using the testing fuse here, which is lower than the value of the load. Here what is this distribution pillar which is controlling the cable, where you can see in the this here figure, you will get some idea that for example the low voltage distribution feed pillar, it can incorporate the isolators, which is contractors, heaters, fuse boards, MCB or HRC fuses, circuit breaker, fuse gear, and cable terminations. So let us discuss the safety instructions for work at voltage above 650 volt. So some general instructions are: all high voltage mains and apparatus should be regarded as live and a source of danger and treated accordingly unless it is positively known to be dead and earthed. No person should work on test or earth mains or apparatus unless covered by a permit to work. And after providing the mains dead, except for the purpose of connecting the testing apparatus, etc. So which is especially designed for connecting to the live parts. So while working on the mains, some precautions should be taken. What are these? when any live mains is to be earthed, and the prescribed procedure should be followed. The earth and short circuits specified on the permit to work should not be removed or interfered with except by authority from the person in charge of the work. Then minimum working distance while working on high voltages. So no person should within the minimum working distance from the exposed live mains and apparatus. The minimum working distance depends upon the actual voltages. So exposed live equipment in the vicinity should be guarded off, and the guarding should be done in the manner so that it does not hinder the movement of the personnel. If necessary, a person for observing safety could be posted. So the barriers, shutters, etc. Of high voltage equipment should be kept logged except when the required for carrying out work under a permit to work only. So, and the keys should be kept under the control of the authorized person only. So now let us discuss the operations of switches and isolators. So the safety instructions and precautions associated with this will be discussed. So we will discuss some general safety instructions. No high voltage switch, isolator or earthing switch, it should be operated or earth connection attached or removed without the sanction of an authorized person. So it should not be any switch or earth connection should be operated without any sanction of any authorized person, except in case of movable earth connection on high voltage overhead lines, which may be fixed or moved by an authorized person under the direction of permit to work only, which authorized him to carry out the work. So when a switching operation has to be carried out, the authorized person should convey his or her instructions to the operating person in detail to carry out the operations. So on the receipt of the instructions, the operating person should notify the authorized person of any objections to the carry out of such instructions. The authorized person should then decide whether the work is to proceed. So the authorized person should immediately after this inform the PSC, power system control, of this instructions and the objections if any. So the authorized person should also inform the same receiving station of the operations he is to perform just prior to carrying them out with objections if any. So the procedure for delivering the message and logging them should be carried out in all the cases. So the two messages should be checked by shift in charge or by shift officer of grid or power system control, and clearance given for carrying out the work if in order. So on completion of the authorized person should report back to the grid station and perform operations according to the guidelines of power system control. Basically, one can work only when he received the permit to work or the guidelines from the power system control, and these guidelines are received by the authorized person only. Now, emergency. In case of the emergency, while working with the high voltages, what are these? What are the safety instructions? So in case of danger to life, switches may be opened without instructions, but in no case must a switch be closed except with the previous written instructions or special permission from an authorized person, or when a switch trips on temporary faults, and then only twice in succession. So when any operation is carried out in an emergency, in case of grave danger, without the permit to work being issued, or without emergency authorization, or in case of tripping due to the temporary faults, the grid station from which the supply is received should be informed as soon as possible, and the message logged on the log sheet. The number of the messages on the log sheet should be marked in the report of occurrence, and such messages should also be conveyed immediately to the higher authorities or the person authorized by them on their behalf. So learners, now let us discuss about the testing of mains and apparatus and the safety instructions associated with this. So no person should apply test voltage to any mains unless he has received a permit to work and has warned all persons working on the mains of the proposed application of the test voltage. If any part which will thus become alive is exposed, the person in charge of the test should take due precautions to ensure that the exposed live portion does not constitute danger to any person. It should be ensured before the application of the test voltage that no other permit to work has been issued for working on this mains. Then authorization of for testing. So when the equipment is isolated from the main supply for testing, the official responsible may give sanction for the operation of switches, isolators, earthing switches, earth connections, etc. And for the application of the testing supplies to the isolated section without reference to her or him. So the person in charge of the testing then becomes wholly responsible for the safety precautions within the isolated section, but no switch or isolator connecting any isolated section to the main supply system should be operated without direct sanction of the responsible official, except for the purpose of obtaining testing supplies. So there are special devices for testing that the mains and the electrical apparatus is dead. They are not energized. So we are describing them briefly. So safety devices for testing that the mains and the electrical apparatus is dead. So what are these devices? The one device is the voltage indicator rods, which is also called a neon tester. So high voltage neon lamp contact indicator rods are used for providing the exposed mains and apparatus dead. So each rod is fitted with an indicating neon bulb, and it should always be tested before using, which glows. And when the contact end of the rod comes in contact with the exposed live parts, so each rod is clearly marked for a maximum voltage on which it may be safely used, and should not under any circumstances be used on the higher voltages. That means whatever the rated voltage is given there, maximum voltage is given there, it should be used under that limit only. Then the contact indicator and phasing rod. This is also one of the special device for the testing the mains and the electrical apparatus is dead. So the contact indicator and phasing rods are provided for phasing and providing exposed mains and apparatus dead. So a set consists of two rods connected in series by a length of insulated rods. Both rods are fitted with contact tips and indicating tubes. So when the contact tip of one rod is applied to exposed live part and that of the other to earth or other exposed live part, provided there is a sufficient voltage difference between the two, the indicating tubes it should glow. So each set of the rods is normally marked for maximum voltages. which it can be safely used and should not under any circumstances be used on higher voltages. So it should be ensured that all the devices for providing the high voltage mains and apparatus DAD are marked clearly with the maximum voltage for which they are intended, and should be tested periodically as per the manufacturer guidelines. So learners, now discuss working on cables. What are the safety instructions and precautions? Identification of cables to be worked upon. So first of all, we are discussing this. So a cable should be identified as that having been proved dead prior to cutting or carrying out any operation which may involve work on or movement of the cable. So it should be proved dead prior to for any operation. So a neon contact indicating rod, induction testing set may be used for providing the or for proving the cable dead. Then simply with the help of the neon contact indicating rod, the cable should be checked after being switched off. So working on high voltage cable. So work on high voltage cable should be only permitted on receipt of permit to work. In addition to the precautions taken, the person carrying out such work should be personally instructed on the spot by the authorized person, who should first satisfy himself or herself that the cable has been made dead, isolated and earthed, and if possible the switching or switch controlling the cable drawn from the cubicle, and suitable danger boards installed in position. Now working on underground cables. So what safety precautions are involved in this case? So for isolation of cables, at least one set of disconnecting switches or fuses in every source through which the cable can be made alive, including leads to the cable of potential transformers, should be opened. That means the leads of the cable of the potential transformer also, if there, it should be opened, and then the cable should be discharged to the earth. Then the cable route indicators should be provided, and cable route records maintained. So it would access the particulars of all underground cables correctly in the vicinity of the faulty cable. Use of sharp-edged crowbars or pickaxes, it should be avoided during the excavation while locating the faulty cable or lying new cable. Otherwise the cable may damage, or there can be some hazard. So all the cables in the vicinity in the fault area should be exposed and identified to establish the identification of the faulty cable. So before any high voltage joint of chamber is to be opened, in circumstances where it is not desired to spike the cables or earthing the joint or chambers, the authorized person should satisfy from cable route record, and if necessary by approved test and approved test that the joint or the chamber is associated with the particular cable which has been made dead and it is safe to work on it. Employees should not step on live cables even though those are insulated and enclosed in lead sheath. Tools and the material should not be rested against the sheath of the cable. It may also cause some danger. Now let us discuss working at a height. What safety precautions or safety instructions for this? So before any work is begin on any pole or tower of a high voltage overhead line which is adjacent and parallel to any other high voltage overhead line with conductors alive, or any pole or tower which supports more than one sets of high voltage conductors alive. So in that case, the following special precautions in addition to the foregoing, it should be taken in every case. So what are these? So the authorized person in charge of the work should ensure that each workman who is to work on the pole or tower is definitely informed. He should be well informed and thoroughly understands on which set of the conductors the work is to be carried out. A red flag or a caution tape or lamp in the case of night, so which are available with maintenance crew, it should be displayed on the side of the pole or structure on which the conductors are alive. So work should not be performed on any higher position of tower or line when a line below is energized. Remember this thing. Now let us discuss working on high voltage apparatus and overhead lines. So what are the safety instructions associated with this? So work on the high voltage apparatus first. So before commencing any work of repair, alterations or extensions or additions or cleaning of high voltage apparatus, some operations should be carried out in sequence. What are these? The apparatus or the cable or transmission line should be switched out and isolated from all points of supply under the direction of the authorized person. Number 1. Then 2. The switches, isolators and control links should be in locked in position and by the keys provided for this purpose. Then safety tag should be placed at all points where apparatus can be made alive. It is essential. So all the apparatus should be discharged to earth and efficiently connected to earth near all points from which supply could be connected to it, or between such points and the place of the work. All earthing should be done by the approved method. The earthing leads used for earthing, it should be adequate cross section. It should have the adequate cross section according to the voltage level to enable passage of fault current without fusing. Safety tags should be removed only by the authorized person. No other person is allowed for that. Then earthing should also be carried out at point of work by means of temporary earths on each phase. And in no case should the temporary earths be removed from two phases simultaneously while the work is being carried out. Remember this thing. Now let us discuss working on lower portion of towers carrying live lines. So painting and other work on the lower portion of the towers or supports carrying live lines and above the anti-climbing device, it may be permitted under the permit to work card, provided that suitable precautions are taken to ensure that all persons carrying out the work are acquainted with the distinctive marks, that means the caution order, that have been placed on the tower and the support. So for this purpose, all the towers and supports should be distinctly marked either by the by color or by other positive manner, above which no operation should be carried out without making the line dead. Only up to that mark, and above that mark no operation should be carried out without making line dead. So distinctive marking should be so provided that it is not possible to get nearer than a minimum distance of 6 feet from a live conductor. Now let us discuss working on deadlines and equipment. So what are the safety instructions associated with this? Grounding of lines and equipment. So before doing any work on deadlines or equipment where there is a possibility of they are becoming energized from any source, such lines or equipment should be short circuited and grounded between the location of work and all possible sources of energy. So conductors to be grounded should be checked for potential by an approved method before the ground is installed. Temporary grounding cables should be flexible stranded copper and should be equipped with approved clamps at each end. Grounding cable should be inspected before each use. When the grounding lines or equipment connection to the ground should be made first, and that to the circuit or equipment last. First of all, the ground connection should be made, and then only then after other connections. So by removing grounds, so now after when you are removing the grounds, remember first remove the connections to the circuit or apparatus, and then remove the ground connection. Now learners, insulated hot sticks, it should be used in making the ground connections to the circuit or apparatus. So remember, the ground should be placed in all phases, even if work is to be carried out on one phase only. So for work on the line, ground should be placed at nearest tower on each side of the point of work, but in no case should be earths to be made more than 6 span apart. So as an additional safety measures, if possible, in addition to above grounds, line should also be grounded on the tower where the work is to be carried out. So when work is to be carried out on lines of all insulated construction and grounding points is not provided at point of work, temporary ground should be connected at point of work to an efficient portable earth stake driven into the ground. The line should also be grounded at the nearest line grounding point on either side of the point of work. Where 2 or more crew are working independently on the same line or equipment, each crew should properly protect themselves by placing their own temporary grounds. So learners, let us summarize this session. So you have learnt about, or we briefly discussed, the safety instructions involved in working at various voltages, electrical equipment such as operation of switches and isolators, working on cables, then safety instructions associated with the testing of mains and apparatus, working at heights, the precautions while working on high voltage apparatus and overhead lines, working on lower portion of the towers, carrying lines. So in our next session, the safety instructions involved with working on deadlines and equipment, working on switching operations, and working in substations, transformers, circuit breakers, metal clad switch gears and control panels, and also the safety instructions associated with the working outdoor structures like bus bars, capacitors, lightning arresters, storage batteries, and portable lamps and appliances. These will be discussed. Until then, happy learning.